lecturer in universities, and also I'm a YouTuber. My YouTube channel name is Deep Social.
What university do you lecture at?
In Karachi University, it's a public university. I'm teaching subjects related to sociology like civics, community development, introduction to social science. And in Iqra University, it's a private university. I'm teaching these same subjects like sociology, culture, media and society, and civics.
Okay, and you're a sociologist, is that right?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, that's what I remember. Just a minute, I need to move the windows. I take notes when I do this, so I'll be looking probably not at you, but at my notes. 1 second, sorry, I have so many different windows up, I just need to move everything. Alright, the next thing, let's see if we do it like this. Sorry, this is just gonna take a minute. Usually I do this through Zoom, it's a little simpler.
Take your time, I don't mind.
Thank you. Do that. Yeah, okay, perfect. Alright, and I need to know how to say your name, so it's Sayyida Saba Hashmi, is that right? Can you tell me how to... Really? Sayyida Saba Hashmi. Okay. Alright. 1 second. Okay. So, could you just please tell me, you were just talking about it a minute ago, but tell me just sort of like maybe an overview of how YouTube is used in Pakistan, how people benefit, what their needs are, what helps them, what hurts them, or not, maybe not hurts them, but like what is beneficial to them, what is not beneficial to them.
You know the theory uses and gratification? Uses and gratification theory?
Uses and gratification? No.
Theory. There is a theory of why we use certain things, and this theory tells us that people use things for tension release needs or educational purpose or some other purpose. They talk about 5 needs. So if I tell you people use YouTube here for their so many needs, mostly for tension release need, like when they are having some stress and they want some escapism, so they use it for entertainment, they use it for tension release need. So mostly they watch YouTube for news, for education, for information, and they watch it for preparation of exams. There are lots of teachers here teaching on YouTube that teach in a very simple language that is easily understood by students, especially Gen Z, because they are having some different kind of language which is totally different than bookish language. So they enjoy learning from YouTube. Even I'm not Generation Z. When I was doing masters, I started using YouTube for its educational content. If I miss a class in my university, I used to YouTube it. Some other teacher would be teaching the same subject from India, Bangladesh or Pakistan. So it was easy. And some Pakistani teachers too are teaching on YouTube. So with the Pakistani examples, it was easier for me to understand. So it made my study easy. Second thing, they watch music. Here we are fond of music. We are like doing anything and we are listening music. So we use it for music, and then we get to know that if we do YouTubing, then we can earn. So then they go for earning, because they think if we are consuming it, we can earn something. So they start uploading things, whatever the festival things, mostly entertainment things they upload. So that's all why we use YouTube. And one thing more, YouTube tries to maintain standard rather than when I teach in sociology and culture, media and study, society, culture, media and society. So I also give examples of YouTube, TikTok, etc. So if you know about high cultural capital and low cultural capital, YouTube is more focused on high cultural capital than low cultural capital. Like TikTok is for low cultural capital, means it could be used for entertainment, that's just consuming your time mostly. Algorithm system focus on it, or I don't know what, but we can observe low cultural capital is more visible in TikTok, what I teach in my classes, and in YouTube. Even from if we see new policy of YouTube, they will not monetize if you are using only AI that do not add any value in your video, but it allows AI if you are adding any value related to education or entertainment. So that's why we prefer, if your family tells you stop using TikTok, they will not tell you to stop using YouTube, because here we are having perception that YouTube gives you a quality content and high values is the thing you to focus on. Here we are having percentage. I understand that other platforms like TikTok and other platforms are focusing on high value things too, and maybe YouTube has some low quality or low cultural capital things too, but mostly what we perceive is that YouTube is giving us valuable things like information and entertainment that we can see with our family.
You were saying that in Pakistan, the university professors, they put all of their lectures on YouTube so the students can watch them?
It's not necessary that we record our lecture during class. Some teachers do that with their permission of their HOD etc. Some HOD, some head of department does not allow. But at home, we prepare a video. Like I prepare a video while using PPT, and I make video. So if my student miss a class, or if they are having problem in internet connectivity or load shedding or any other things, or noise, or they are sick, they forgot or they didn't join online class, so they don't get left behind. I provide them my recorded lecture which I save or upload on YouTube.
That's really interesting. I don't think in the U.S. they do that. Is internet connectivity a problem in Pakistan?
So much.
Really? Okay. Wow. So this is amazing. So this kind of relates to the story we're doing, although we're focusing on how YouTube can be education for children. But this is like a whole new use which I hadn't thought of.
I must tell you, even my son is 10 years old, and when even he was in Montessori, he was having an homework to watch a video on YouTube. Baby Shakla, whatever the poems are. He was told, it was written in his diary to watch that specific URL and watch that video so you could remember or you can learn the poem. So we are using it so much for, even nowadays we are having some problems, so we cannot have on campus classes. We are having fuel shortage due to Iran war. So we are told by our PM to conduct online classes. So even now when my son is having homework, so it's written in his diary that which is sent through WhatsApp to watch tutorial on YouTube, then do the homework. So even I tell you, you will find UPSC Indian channels. They are not affiliated with any university or anything. They are having an online coaching system type thing all on YouTube. People learn for free, and then they tell them to enroll in their courses. You know, primary source of getting students for them is YouTube. Because here in our DC countries, we perceive YouTube as a teacher. For educational purpose, students use it a lot. Even some memes says that on YouTube teachers teach in more better way, in more simple and more entertaining way. Sometimes teachers are like dancing, giving some jokes, which we are not allowed to do in our traditional classroom, but on YouTube we are free. So it makes it more entertaining. So we are more inclined toward YouTube for educational purpose.
Okay, wow, I think this is going to be really interesting for our audience. I know, like, in the US, I'm sure, I haven't lived in the US in a really long time, but I'm sure they do the same, giving homework and things like that on YouTube. I don't know if they record lectures, and I know my kids in Kyrgyzstan also have their homework on YouTube, like watch a YouTube video. Before, you were saying something really interesting before we started the YouTube, and you were talking about the economics of this. You said, I believe you said, like, right now, like, it's a hard time for people financially in your country, and this is where I interrupted you. And you were saying that YouTube is really, like, an opportunity for some people to earn money. I was wondering if you could just talk a little bit about that, please.
Yeah, as you can see, developing countries bear more burden of consequences, whatever happens in global world, whatever is happening in between Russia, Ukraine, America, Iran, Israel, Iran, whatever is happening, or if we are having any ups and downs, stock market gets affected very much. Like through a tweet, something is going to happen. So here we get petrol price hike, we get then more inflation. So when we see that AI is scaring people, that AI will eat all the jobs. It's not like that AI will eat your job, but people know that if they don't get tech savvy, they will not get involved or get selected in job. Here we have a rich population, what I should say, by rich I mean quantity. We are so populated, like we are talking about India, Pakistan. China is so populated too, but it's like economic superpower. Pakistan is having some different scenario because surrounded by different type of neighbors and different historical context. So we are having so much problem right now due to so many things. Like we are not responsible for climate change, but we are facing because we are near that Himalaya thing. So flood thing we get, so it disturb our infrastructure and so many things. Like it would be a so much long conversation if try to go in that, but I'm just trying to tell you that we are facing the consequences of we never did. So we are not in war with like big war. We are not doing things to raise climate change concerns. Still we are facing things, especially economic things, like industries are packing up and going away, flying away. They are developing their countries in some other countries which will give them cheaper labor and low tax rate. We have to increase our taxes because we are going through something. But obviously industries would like to see if they can have benefit in other countries more, they will go. So it's will create another problem for unemployment raising. So it's really easy to make a social media video. And mostly we are using YouTube. Here in Pakistan we use Facebook and YouTube a lot. Then Generation Z use Instagrams a lot. So we start making videos on YouTube because our family, our cultural values are aligned with YouTube. Our family, our friends don't mind if we are using YouTube or if we are uploading something on YouTube. If we are using TikTok, they suspect like we are doing something adult. You know, TikTok let you see these content easily, and that's why we are having perception that YouTube is kind of aligned with our cultural values. And people, the content creator, type of content creator of on YouTube are more having traditional values than other, because you know the consumers on TikTok and Instagram are mostly youngster who are rebellion, who are deviant, who try to do something new instead of being a conformist. While on YouTube we are having people with elder age like me, 34 years old or 50 years old, other people. So you know, in our age we are more concerned about being sober, produce content that is more aligned with traditional, but on TikTok and Instagram etc. they are having people with generation Alpha and generation Z, and they are like due to their age they are more rebellion. So YouTube is the platform where we go for with a hope, digital hope labor. If you know the concept digital hope labor, they starting uploading video. Digital hope labor is something, digital labor, you know, if we are trying to earn money from digital platform, and digital hope labor is that they are doing things that they are having a very low amount of income, or they are not getting any income. Because for 3 years I have been uploading videos on YouTube, and still I'm not earning any single thing, any single penny, because obviously I don't have 4,000 hours, watch hours. So I'm not earning, but it's like a digital hope labor for me, that I have a hope that one day I will start earning. So all these people are having a hope that they will start earning, but then they leave it because it gives it doesn't give money easily, and then we are having transaction process problem. Here we are having transaction process.
So you're having what?
Transaction, money transaction.
Transition.
Banking.
Okay, I think what the word is. Transaction. Transaction. No, God. Sometimes I spend a lot of time not speaking English, so I forget stuff.
Same here.
It's not translation, money. I can only think of the word in Russian right now. I'm so sorry.
But you got the meaning, right?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
So YouTube send us money on our bank, and most of the time we cannot get it because we are having some problems, technical problems. So most of the time it gets returned. Even if I'm earning from some other sources, they did tell me to give a bank account. I tell them my bank account, while I know that through bank I will barely receive it, because we are having so much problem in bank. What I would like to give advice to YouTube, that stop telling us to link our bank. Instead they can do something else, like fintech companies. We have EasyPaisa, which is not a bank basically, but it is a mobile app. It's a mobile app in which we get digital currency transaction. We are using here EasyPaisa, like India is using UPI. So it's easy if YouTube gives us money through EasyPaisa, not traditional banking system, because it takes so much time. Like I won an prize in my research competition in Malaysia. So that university told me to give a bank account number etc, and I have been waiting for more than 1 year. I didn't receive it because issues. I have been emailing bank and then emailing university. So much complication we have. So I would request YouTube to stop telling us to link bank. Instead they can pay us in bitcoins, in fintech, or they can give us voucher with which we can buy things from Daraz. Daraz is something like Amazon or Alibaba. So we are here using Daraz. Daraz is more trustworthy for us than other shopping websites. It can give us voucher, or YouTube can give us not money but gifts like headphones, the thing that will help us in creating better quality products. So we will receive it at our home, but bank is the last option we would like to recommend to YouTube. So
Okay, this is one of the reasons why I want to talk to somebody like you. Do you have any sense of like how much somebody in the US can make if they get, I don't know, 10,000 views versus like somebody in Pakistan who gets 10,000 views
Yeah,
or 50,000 views? Like, do you have any idea like
Yeah.
what the difference in earning potential is for the same amount of views in the US
yes,
versus
in
Pakistan?
US they are earning more than here because even in ads, if audience of Western countries watch
Even
that
in what? Sorry.
ads, advertisement, ad revenue.
Uh-huh.
So companies gives you more CPM if the viewers are from Western countries. Even in in Pakistan, people try to get audience viewers for their videos so they can earn more money from advertisement, because we are from developing countries, so for developed countries companies, we are basically cheap labor. They prioritize us only when they think that we need cheap laborers, we will pay them less. They are having such mindset that we already know, and it disappoints us and it demotivates us, and then we stop making seriously videos on YouTube and other social media platforms, because we know that we are not being their valuable assets, or what we can say valuable labor. The value they give to their Western labors, or you can say content creators. So they give them more money, and most of the time, even if we talk about super thanks and super chat, we are not having it in Pakistan. So it disappoints us when we compare with India and Western countries. We see that YouTube does not really care about us than other countries. So we start making videos and then we stop making videos. Like my son is a YouTuber too, but he is not getting much subscriber. So to motivate children, YouTube should give compensation to these small creators, because they are so emotional. They start asking us parents, why I am not monetized yet. We have patience, they don't have. So they say, delete my channel, I don't like YouTube. So they get emotional. So they can just give them recognition, like we get recognition for 1,000 subscribers, so it will motivate them. Children don't appreciate expensive gifts, but they value attention, recognition. So it will more attach them with YouTube. Like he makes videos from playing Free Fire game, so he wants to be a gamer and he wants to upload things on YouTube. So he keeps changing his name, that YouTube might like this name more. So therefore I would say that there should be some compensation for these youngsters who are less than 18 years old. So that's how YouTube will not be spending money, but at least it will make more place in hearts of youngsters, because if we invest on young population, then their life, if they get a good perception in their childhood, they will have 80 more years of life having good words for that platform.
So, how many people do you think in Pakistan are actually making money on YouTube that's making a difference in their life?
If you say statistics, you will see TV channels are earning. You will see name of TV channels. TV channels are making their YouTube channels. People watch dramas on YouTube. Pakistani dramas are so famous even in India and other countries, because we are having good quality dramas and we are more traditional, so people like our dramas. We go with balancing because we are having so much diversity that we cannot cross lines. So we have to think a lot before making any drama or any social media content. So people like the quality of our dramas. So drama channels and then news channels are having so much views and they are already earning from TV. They are then earning with YouTube. But individual, if they are political, like you will see the name of Imran Riaz Khan. So, or if they are having family vlog like Rajab's family. Not all of us are allowed to show our family because we are having traditions. It's not a good thing for us to show family on YouTube channel, especially females, because we believe in parda thing. Parda, it's this thing, it's this thing. You understand? So we try to hide our family, our children, our girls. So it's not easy for us to show. Even they get criticism. The YouTubers who are showing their family for views, they get criticism, they get abused because it's not our traditional values. So therefore, the same thing happened. As I told you that they start making videos. Before they start earning, they leave. They get demotivated and political. Yeah, if a person is having political view, strongly opinionated, then he is living outside Pakistan. Because in Pakistan we believe in being moderate. Like we like to have balanced opinion. We are so much diplomatic in our nature, in our culture, because we have so much diversity. So we are very much thoughtful before speaking anything, before giving any opinion about any institution or religion or anything. But like Imran Riaz Khan is now outside Pakistan, so he is easily giving strong opinions. So he is getting more views from other countries. So he is getting more views, he is earning more money. Just give me 1 second, I will connect with the charger.
Okay. I was curious with the YouTuber you just mentioned, what do you know what country he's living in?
I forgot the name, but he is not in Pakistan.
Yeah. Okay. I also want to ask, are you getting hot? This is getting too uncomfortable, we can take a break. You can turn the fan.
No, I don't need a break. I'm a teacher. I can speak for 3 hours.
Okay. You've already answered a lot of the things I want to talk about. I read the paper you sent me, and you write that YouTube incentivizes sensationalism in trend-based formats over originality. I want to know, how does that affect the content that people in countries like Pakistan are creating?
Like if you have studied Bart's code, Bart's, he was a theorist. Bart's, Barthes, Bart's codes. I would recommend you to read it. Then you will understand. He talks about so many codes. I will not go in technical term. I will tell you in simple words. Code of mystery. What's going to happen? It creates sensation. So here we use sensation. In our videos, we try to say like we will upload thumbnails which would be misleading. Even yesterday I wrote in comments of some YouTuber that please stop using misleading thumbnails. He says something about Prime Minister has resigned. I'm Pakistani. I will think that my Prime Minister has resigned. But when I see Prime Minister of some other country, he is putting the picture of my PM and saying PM has resigned. So that's how they get sensation. Like they say, I would say in Urdu, क्या होने वाला है? What's going to happen? What will do Iran with that? America? Will Trump shoot us? What is this? Then they say, no, Trump will not shoot us. Obviously, we know that Trump will not shoot us. Then why are you putting that sensational? And people get so excited. So they start watching it to see what happened. They stop watching it when they get to know that it's not worthy or it was misleading. But YouTube will not stop showing you that same thing. I tell you one thing. I mostly try to be aware of current affairs. So if my student asks something about current affairs, so I could have a historical context or current affairs context. So YouTube daily show me the same content from same YouTubers. Even if refresh it, I will see the same video. So I have to watch it. And even after watching it, it will appear again. Even after 2 days, it will appear again. It irritates me. If I watch shorts, so I will find more diversity in content. I will see other YouTubers, some new perspective. But whenever I try to watch long videos, it will show me the same content I have watched or being watched. So I have to watch it because I am not getting any other thing to watch. If I scroll end of the page, I have no YouTubers, no new YouTubers, no new perspective. I want diverse perspective. I'm a sociologist. I'm not a common man to follow one narrative. So it irritates me. So then I switched to Twitter, then I switched to Facebook. So I could, even Facebook gives you similar content but not similar pages. YouTube shows you similar channels, same channel. It irritates us. basically. So because people are watching it more, because they have to watch it more, people are getting a sense of solving a riddle. Like I talked about code of mystery they use, so it's sensational, so people understand. If I make sensational video which could be misleading or disinformation, like they say like that, we got a news, we are not sure about it, but we got a news, we will not tell you the name of some person who gave us, but we have a news. Then they will make new video. Sorry, the news we told you was wrong, but we got a new news. We don't know if it's true. Then they will make another video. No. We were thinking that it happened, but it didn't happen. Why are you making such content repeatedly? It irritates us. But YouTube is giving it more reach, because people watch it, because they are having what happened mystery they feel, so they watch it. So that's how.
1 second, just taking notes. Living in countries like Pakistan are more equitable. You talked about the payment is a big problem. People can't get paid, or like if they cannot get paid through their bank account, like give them a voucher or something they can use on Amazon. Give them headphones or something that can improve their videos. And then you also mentioned just like the algorithm favors people who are making stuff for Western audiences, and this sort of like, it suppresses diverse voices. You wrote that in your paper. I'm just wondering, is there anything else that you wish the platform would do to help people in your country? Or if we've already talked about everything, like that's fine. I just want to make sure we haven't missed something that you wanted to mention.
Yeah, I would like to give another advice. You know, my age is something which is more focused on giving advice, which irritates generation that, but like I'm giving you so much advice, like I know more than YouTube. What I think is that YouTube should give a warning when we are about to post something. It should give us a warning that your post could be considered as spam, your post could be considered as copyright, it can get copyright strike, or it is using AI generated content more than a limit, so your content will not get monetized or views. And instead of showing the same YouTubers on my news feed, they can just give me the list of that YouTube channels. Instead of showing their videos, I will say I will see the videos, like 5 videos from the same YouTube channel. So my news feed is occupied by 4 or 5 YouTubers. I like to watch them, but it irritates me. Sometimes I want to watch something new too. And if I search a YouTuber and I watch it, then it becomes zombie about me too. Like it is all around my news feed. It captures my news feed again. So we prefer watching shorts then. But what happened? Shorts are not giving us much revenue. Long videos will give you more money. YouTube policy is that long videos, if gets views, then you will earn more money. But if your views, like you need 4,000 hours watch hour for long videos and 10 million views for shorts, then you can start earning 10 million views. So people are watching views because they want diversity, but shorts are not giving them monetary benefits that could be considerable in amount. That's it.
Thank you. I'm just looking at my notes. So I think the last thing I wanted to ask you, I hear a lot of people in the U.S. talking about they're burning out from working on YouTube, like they're getting tired, like they're just like can't keep doing this job, even though it's a cool job. But I hear people talk about how you need to make so many videos in order to keep making money. So like the algorithm keeps bringing your videos so people see them. Do you hear any cases of people in Pakistan who are just like they really want to make more money on YouTube, and they're like, I think it's possible, who are just like absolutely killing themselves and like not sleeping trying to make money, and like it's just not happening?
By nature, we Desi people are so passionate about the things we think that will give us the thing we want. Either be it money, be it love, be it whatever satisfies our ego, we work like horse. Even if we are studying, we will be like, no, I will not sleep. I have to get good grades. I will study more and more. Here we are passionate about whatever we are doing. So if the things that demotivate YouTubers here due to policies like we don't have super chat etc, here we have transactions problem, we are having that algorithm problem which shows us the same YouTubers and same videos repeatedly, and so many other things that I told you demotivate us. So then if YouTube works on that, then Pakistani people will obviously prioritize that YouTube, and they will not stop making making videos for YouTube. They will not care about food, like fasting thing. We are passionate about Desi people. Like if you know about Muslim, they do fast for 30 days. Even if you know about Hindu people, they do their fast, their Mangal fast, their Somvar Vart, they call it, na? They are having so much kind of fast, so we can do fasting easily. So when we are doing something with passion, we stop eating. We don't feel hungry, we don't feel sleepy, but it should give us reward. Otherwise we leave it like it never exists in our life. Be it person, be it work, be it entertainment, if it doesn't gives us reward as much as we expected, then we stop, like we start having hate or irritation. As you can see on my face or the level of frustration you indicated. So we are people with feelings, people with perception more than people with statistics. We don't care about statistics that we get so much this thing or that thing. Is it what we perceived? Did it give us the reward we expected? Is it justified in our eyes? We think we put so much effort, but YouTube didn't care. So we will switch to other platforms. It will happen, or we will even stop watching, because there are so many alternatives. We will watch YouTube again, but we will try on TikTok. Like TikTok gives you more money. I was watching a video, it was saying that 35% more money TikTok gives you than YouTube. And YouTube, what YouTube does, it takes 45% of what we earn. So when we see that thing, it hurt our heart. It can YouTube should not be so much clear about telling these things that I will have a cut of 45%. It can clearly say that I am having money from that advertiser, and you are having your money from advertiser, but it says like I will have 45% of whatever you earn. It looks like it's stealing from us. YouTube should not be so much direct with us. We are not a direct people, we are diplomatic. We want things with sugar-coated wordings. Like it is pampering us, like we are having ads like that. You phone, tum hi to ho, means you are our priority. It's all about you. We want such heart-touching slogans. Then we connect. Then we give more than we should give. We are people of kind of giver, but only if our feelings are satisfied or our hearts are touched. That is the problem with YouTube too, that it does not touch the heart. It's more about rules and regulations, statistics, and direct conversations.
Yeah, it sounds talking to you like it's very obvious that this platform was designed by people from a very different culture. And even, I think in your paper you say that Pakistan has the ninth, did I get this right, the ninth largest amount of viewers in the world?
10th largest.
It's 10th place now?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, they haven't designed it for that audience specifically.
Yeah, as I told you, we like YouTube because it clearly draws the boundaries. It is clear about its boundaries, and we perceive it something that we can watch with our family, that our family can watch it alone, because we are so much careful about what my son is watching, what my daughter is watching. Even if it's 18 years old, if it's 40 years old, if someone's daughter is 40 years old, I will still be concerned. What is she watching on that platform? If I have a good perception, like we are having good perception about YouTube, we will not, oh, she is watching YouTube. She must be watching something skill related thing, education related thing. She will be listening some music or drama she will be watching. So we don't care what is she watching on YouTube. She must be watching something good. But if she is watching TikTok, if she is on TikTok it's like the problem of our ghairat, honor thing we are having so much here. So if they are like abusive thing, your daughter is a TikToker. It's like shameful thing. It's like tawba, tawba, tawba. I want to forgiven by God. Tawba, tawba thing is that I want to be forgiven by God. That your daughter is a TikToker, but if she is a YouTuber, yeah, she must be a good thing. When I was having a TikTok account, I was doing lip sync and other thing. Then some people started saying things. I deleted, but when I started YouTube. Then nobody said any bad thing that, oh, you are doing YouTubing, tawba tawba. They never say this tawba tawba thing for YouTube. They think that YouTube is a thing that a good person can use. So YouTube is having good perception about cultural things, but not about economic things.
Okay. I think this is a good place to end. Is there anything else you wanted to tell me today before we stop? I'm sorry this took so much time. This was really interesting for me. I'm really grateful for you.
I talk a lot.
I appreciate that.
Thank you.
That is exactly what journalists are looking for.
Thank you.
Thank you.